You know something? Elves never sleep. We just got our last list in, and we've got a batch order that we need to get out for next week, so that way they're in time for the holiday season. We've got 3 end grain cutting boards, 14 of the bubble boards, the kind of charcuterie looking boards, and then we've got 6 sets of coasters that we need to batch out as quickly as possible, but also have high quality work. So let's get started. Let's get rocking and rolling. We gotta get these things done. Let's go. Some of these boards have knots in them. We're gonna go through and make sure we're trying to eliminate as many of those knots as possible so they don't show up on the top of the board. So I'm gonna get these sorted out and cut up and then put into an order for hopefully at least 2 clean boards. I let the board sit overnight just to see if there was any other movement after I milled up a few of those rough ones, and there really wasn't much. But you can see that we've got some gaps here from the snipe, from the thickness planer, so I'm going to take all of these boards and send them through my drum sander just to get a nice, smooth, even finish on both sides. That way the glue up should be a little bit easier, so let's go do that. Got the rough cutting board in this jig that I made. It's kind of convenient just because it's got these screws on the side, so I can screw it down. It holds it from each side so there's no movement, and it kind of prevents that rock. I'll flatten it down on one side and then run it through the drum sander and or the thickness planer, depending on how bad it is. I like to do a quick mock-up glue just to make sure that all of my gaps are looking good. It's much easier to fix it when there's no glue on the pieces. It's a cold one in here today, isn't it, little buddy? We've got all of our bubble boards, 45. Those need to get hit with the spoke shave. All the holes are drilled through. We've got our blank milled up for our coaster, so that needs to get glued up this morning. We've got the final glue up on our end grain cutting boards. Those need to come out of the clamps, run through the router sled one more time, and then sent through the drum sander before finish sanding. And then we have a metric load of sanding to do today. So let's get some wood on the fire, let's get the barn heated up, and let's get to work. You might be thinking to yourself, Blake, that seems like a whole lot of extra work. Why don't you just put a 1/2 inch round over on it and call it a day? Let me show you the difference. So here is a 1/2 inch round over. In my opinion, my eyes can still pick up the manufacturedness, the tooling of this, even after it's been lightly hand sanded. Whereas a spoke shave, my eyes can't pick up the uniformity in that, and so it makes my eyes kind of want to explore the wood a little bit more. It just really softens those edges quite a bit. So that's why I do these with a spoke shave. And doing them with the spoke shave, it really gives you an idea of what it's like to truly soften and eliminate lines in your work pieces. And I practiced a bunch of these boards, and I really started to kind of find like almost a style, and I would use these in shelving on a few pieces. And then when I started and built my first chair, utilizing a spoke shave to create really elegant lines, it really just kind of opened my mind up to not just making everything look square, and it adds a flair to your workpiece when you are crafting it by hand and not just using a machine. I'll put a link in the description below to a spoke shave, and they're awesome tools, and it really gives you some finesse and some style. All right, I've got a lot of sanding to get done, so you don't want to see that, obviously. So watch this clip of my absolutely gorgeous wife and how she does her charcuterie display on one of these boards.
dragging at my sleeve. I do believe it's Christmas. It's cold outside, but I'm warm within, 'cause Christmas time is here.
I like making these little tags for my pieces, so let's take our brand and some scraps and make a few more for these.
Chasing each other to and fro, laughing all the way. Oh, what a jolly time to have the whole family here for a few days of love and grace. But when Christmas has gone, it'll be another year. When Christmas has gone, it actually was on a Christmas day you came my way. That once upon a long ago, the Bethlehem star must have shown the way that led you to me.